I was actually looking at the reports from last year, and right about this time is whenever all the heat-related stuff started. It starts off with heat cramps, because no different than you start sweating, you don't drink enough water, you don't drink enough Gatorade, Powerade, whatever side of the coin you like, and then you don't get those electrolytes. Because of that, your body actually starts to cramp up. That's why it's called heat cramps. If you don't take care of yourself past that, it gets worse and worse and worse. It turns into heat exhaustion, and you start having the more severe symptoms, even to the point of maybe some mental changes because you've lost so many electrolytes. And then worst case scenario, like I said, your body just gets to that point where it's basically cooking. Even your brain. I mean, it'd probably even be safer to take your brain out of your head and stick it inside an oven, because that's essentially what's going on. Your brain is cooking and cooking and cooking, and the body's giving up when it comes to heat stroke. Just like what it says it is. It's heat exhaustion because of heat. There may even be severe heat cramps going on. There's going to be a lot of electrolyte issues that are going to cause those changes, so you'll have that tiredness. That's kind of where the exhaustion comes from. But it's past the point of heat cramps, and now it's getting into more of, there may even be some confusion going on because of the so much loss of electrolytes. Stroke is going to be the actual more serious version of what's going on. When it comes to the heat stroke, obviously the body's gotten hot, and the body's trying to cool off. And essentially when it gets to heat stroke, it's just the worst situation possible, and the body has pretty much given up. Matter of fact, it's not uncommon to find somebody who has had a heat stroke and they're bone dry. You look at their skin, they're not sweating. There's absolutely no sweat because the body's done. The body's given up. That's actually the worst case scenario you can think of when it comes to heat-related emergencies. So most of it's going to be more of just sweating. If you keep sweating, that's a good thing. Your body's trying to cool off. Recognize that. Have water readily available. Maybe even some, like maybe Powerade, Gatorade, whatever you choose to have. And then make sure you have shade or something like that. Because when it starts getting hot, your body can only take so much. So just kind of keep those things in mind, because if you're not careful, you're going to get hot, you're going to keep sweating, you're going to get hot, you're going to keep sweating, and you're going to lose so many electrolytes, you may not realize what's going on. And when it gets to that point, all of a sudden you're like, oh no, what do I do now? And by that time, you may not understand what you need to do. If it's the heat exhaustion, if you're with a buddy, then make sure if they're not confused, for example, if they can drink fluids, encourage them to drink fluids. If not, and they're just not acting right, something's just not right about that, call 911. Call 911, let the ambulance come out there. We can help them get ready, take care of them until they get to the hospital, and then get to the hospital and they can take care of them there. If it's heat stroke, no questions asked, you call 911. Don't even hesitate. Well, it can lead to issues like I talked about, the brain cooking. I mean, it's called a heat stroke for a reason, because you're having you could possibly have brain issues because of the heat emergencies. It's like I said a while ago, you're safer to take your brain out of your head and stick it inside of an oven, because you're just letting it cook and cook and cook. So worst case scenarios, obviously death, and then anything in between. I mean, it's not unheard of for people to go in a coma because of all this, because you're talking about brain issues. So that's why it is so important. If it's hot outside, take those breaks, drink that water. Make sure you have a buddy with you to recognize if something's going wrong.